Welcome to Arri's new headquarters in Munich, where the latest camera products are designed, manufactured and tested. Today, Arri announces the Alexa 35, a new camera platform and the latest chapter in the story of Arri's history. Both the new building and the new camera look to Arri's future, but they embody principles that have remained consistent through time. Arri has been synonymous with cinematic innovation since it was founded in 1917 by my grandfather Robert Richter and his friend August Arnold. 105 years later, it is still a family-owned business that defines itself by a spirit of trust and the shared passion of all employees. The same passion that drove our founders. A belief that technology can help progress the creativity and language of cinema. 85 years ago, Arri released the Arri Flex 35, the first movie camera with a reflex viewfinder for accurate framing and focus. In many ways, it resonates with the Alexa 35. Both are small, rugged 35mm cameras, incorporating new technology that gives filmmakers more creative control. But as you're about to learn, the Alexa 35 does so in ways that could not have been dreamt about back in 1937.
Dear friends of Arri, my name is Stephan Schenk. I'm one of the managing directors of Arri and responsible for global sales and solutions. We are really thrilled that we today announce our new Super 35 digital camera. When we launched the Alexa in 2010, it was the first digital Super 35 camera that was fully embraced by producers and cinematographers and creatives on their journey and transition from analog to digital capture. Ever since, we have developed the camera system. We added software and hardware features, upgrades, more workflow options, more recording options, and additional system components for new applications and to further improve the efficiency of productions. We really appreciate how many of you have used and trusted our various Alexa cameras in the last 12 years. In every year, like also this year, we're really happy to see how many of the productions get nominated or win Best Film, Best Cinematography, have smashing box office hits, and equally important, create emotions in feature films, TV series, but also commercials, documentaries, and live events. That we offer you the right equipment for your productions is only possible through all the feedback that we get from you, our users, our customers, and industry partners all around the world. We always try to listen at Arri, and we will continue to do so in order to further improve our systems. One area where you wanted us to improve was resolution. So you could capture Super 35 at native 4K. Well, that alone would have been fairly easy. You also wanted us to keep what everybody loved about the Alexa, which is the best overall image quality. On top, many cinematographers ask us for more creative choice, for more textures on set already. And others wanted us to improve the highlight handling. So the task for our engineers wasn't easy. And the more we are now happy to announce today a camera that combines all that and raises the bar, the Alexa 35. The Alexa 35 is a true and amazing successor of our digital Super 35 line of cameras, from the classic Alexa to the Alexa SXT and the standard Alexa Mini. Of course, we will continue to produce and sell the Alexa Mini LF. We're really happy to see how the large format was embraced, including our signature primes and zooms. So the Alexa Mini LF is here to stay for at least the next 2 to 3 years. We now believe with the Alexa 65, the Alexa LF cameras, and the Alexa 35, We offer cinematographers the best overall image quality for each format. We all at Arri can't wait to see what images will be captured with the additional creative choices of the Alexa 35 on one hand, and the huge variety of Super 35 lenses out there. And now, it's my pleasure to hand over to my colleagues, who will explain in further detail what the Alexa 35 camera system is all about.
Welcome. My name is Marc Shipman-Mueller, and I'm a product manager at Arri. I'm thrilled to be here today to give you a brief introduction to the Alexa 35 camera. The Alexa 35 is a digital motion picture camera with a 4x3 Super 35 native 4K sensor that can run up to 120 frames per second. What is exciting about this camera are the significant improvements in image quality, new creative options, many new features that make working on set faster and easier, and a complete new accessory range. Creating the best overall image quality has always been one of the most important goals for us here at Arri. And there are many improvements in image quality in this camera, but the four most important ones are these. First, the sensor. I have one here. This is a completely newly developed sensor, and it can capture 17 stops of dynamic range. That is 2.5 stops more than previous Arri cameras, and certainly more than any other digital camera can. 17 stops of dynamic range can handle any situation on set. It increases flexibility in post, and the images created are the best possible source for all high dynamic range projects. Sophisticated stray light suppression technology in the camera and in our lens mounts ensures that the Alexa 35 can accurately capture the full contrast range and character of each lens, and the images show deep and rich blacks. We consider the Alexa 35 a high ISO camera. The camera has a lower noise level than any of our previous cameras, which is why you can set it from exposure index 160 to exposure index 6400. In addition, there's an optional enhanced sensitivity mode that provides even cleaner images at low light levels. For the Alexa 35, we've not only developed the new sensor, but we've also completely overhauled our color science. This new color science is called Reveal Color Science because it reveals more about the beauty in the images. Reveal Color Science is used in camera to create ProRes, but is also available through leading third-party post-production companies. Images that are processed with Reveal Color Science have cleaner edges for better green screen compositing. They have more accurate color reproduction, which means more pleasing and natural skin tones, better color tracking when severely over or underexposed, and greatly improved saturated colors, such as you may find in bright lights with a lot of color or neon signs. Images created with Reveal Color Science are easier to grade and fully compatible with ACES. They can contain the 17 stops of dynamic range from the sensor through a new log C4 tonal curve. They show improved color fidelity through new log C4 lookup tables. And last but not least, they can be intercut with footage from previous Arri digital cameras. But even better, Arri RAW from the Mini LF and Alexa LF can also be processed through Reveal Color Science. In addition to these great improvements in image quality, the Alexa 35 also offers 3 new creative options to filmmakers. First, since the new sensor is a Super 35 4.6K sensor, it supports all Super 35 and large format lenses, be they modern or vintage, anamorphic or spherical, with large or small image circles. And it does that while fulfilling all 4K mandates for spherical and for anamorphic lenses. Arri Textures is a new feature that can be set in camera like choosing a film stock. Arri Textures control the amount of contrast at different levels of detail and the amount and character of grain. The camera comes with a number of Arri textures pre-installed, and there are different textures designed for different shooting situations. Arri textures give the cinematographers tremendous control over the character of the image. Third, new look handling features. The new log-to-log look file format allows monitoring of standard dynamic range and high dynamic range images of the same look on set, and it provides a future-proof format for post. Included in the camera is the Arri Look Library, which has been updated with the improvements of the Reveal Color Science. Many here at Arri come from the film industry, so we understand what it is like to work on set. The Alexa 35 is full of new ideas and features that make it easier and faster to work on any production. First of all, The Alexa 35 is the smallest fully featured Alexa. In the past, we've always had two cameras, a larger version with a lot of features, and then a smaller and lighter version with reduced features. Alexa 35 is the first small form factor camera that also has all the high-end features. Another new feature is the advanced color match. It is a special calibration that ensures that all Alexa 35 cameras match each other. The camera supports recording in Arri RAW or Apple ProRes. It supports regular recording as well as pre-recording, and it offers 19 different recording formats. These are designed so every production can find just the right format, and they include time and money savers like in-camera downsampling or in-camera anamorphic de-squeezing. Here, on the left side of the camera, we have the new left side display that allows you to change settings without having to use the viewfinder. This is very useful when you're going with a Steadicam or the cameras on a drone. Below that is the media bay that takes either the 1 terabyte or the 2 terabyte codex compact drives that are also compatible with the Mini LF. The Alexa 35 uses the same popular viewfinder as the Mini LF. However, when attached to the Alexa 35, you can also monitor high dynamic range images through the viewfinder. And then there are a number of connectors on the camera, some in the front and some on the right side, that closely integrate the camera with all other gear on set. Amongst others, there are 2 SDI outputs that are completely independent from each other, one of which can be switched to return in. There's a sync in for Genlock, there is a 12-volt and a 24-volt power output connector, and there's a timecode connector and an audio connector that are the same as found on the Mini LF, so the same cables can be used. The ECS antenna allows wireless control through the Hi5, WCU4, or SXU1. Down here we have the Ethernet connector that provides real-time streaming metadata for mixed reality productions, also known as virtual studios or LED walls. In the front of that we have 3 user buttons, and in the back there are 2 Wi-Fi antennas that allow remote control either from the Arri web remote, third-party remote apps, or the Arri Camera Companion app that runs on an iPhone or iPad. In summary, the Alexa 35 is an exciting new Super 35 4K camera with significant improvements in image quality, new creative options, many new features that make working on set faster and easier, and a complete new accessory range. In addition, the camera is extremely robust and reliable for dependable working on set, a long product cycle, and a safe investment. And now I would like to hand over to my colleague Sean, who will walk you through the complete new accessory range of the Alexa 35.
Hi there, I'm Sean Dooley, and I'm the Product Marketing Manager for Arri. The Alexa 35 is an extremely versatile camera, and one that we expect will be used on all different kinds of productions. To support the various ways that we know people will shoot with the camera, we've come up with a big range of new and bespoke accessories, both mechanical and electronic, for the camera. The Alexa 35 is a 24-volt camera, and we made the decision early on in the design process to stick with 24 volts, as this meant that we could make a smaller, lighter, and more efficient camera. It's also really helped us get the most from our new sensor. At the time though, there wasn't really a standard 24-volt onboard battery system, and so we partnered with battery manufacturer Bebob to come up with B-mount. B-mount is a new standard for the whole industry. It's not a proprietary battery mount, and it's really one that's ideal for cameras, for lighting, and for stabilizers. B-mount at its core can support 3 times as much power as any of the existing 12-volt systems were designed to provide. And we've introduced a range of mechanical benefits as well. So the B-mount interface here is a side-loading interface, which we know camera assistants really like, and it's very small. So when you don't have a battery on the camera, it can be as backed into tight spaces as possible, and it certainly works really well with gimbals when you're powering the camera externally. The battery plate itself is just this tiny U-shaped section here that's only 8mm thick, and it's mechanically rock solid. It was designed for operators to hold while operating their cameras. I have to stress, B-mount is not a proprietary battery mount. It's one that's been designed for the whole industry. And at the time of the Alexa 35 shipping, there should be at least 5 manufacturers who have batteries ready to go on the same day. By the end of the year, we expect all major battery manufacturers to have B-mount batteries in the market. For the first time, with Alexa 35, we're introducing electronic modules that will expand the functionality of the camera body. This means that you can choose to have a very small and bare bones camera rig, or build it out for any other kind of shooting scenario. The first module is the PDM1. That's the power distribution module. And that's this module at the back, which you can see becomes a really integral part of the camera body when it's attached. We still have the beam out plate at the back of here. And because we're using beam out with all that extra power, there's now 7 additional power outputs available on the camera. And the module can supply up to 150 watts of accessory power. We have a range of 24 volt connectors, and there are 2 12 volt connectors at the bottom, as well as a D-tap underneath. The second module that we have is the AEM1. That's this, the audio extension module. And for the first time since a mirror, we're offering 2 channels of microphone preamp built into the camera. This is an exceptionally high quality audio device manufactured by Sonosax, who are a Swiss manufacturer of other high-end audio equipment. It offers 2 channels of mic pre's, a stereo digital input over AES, and 2 power outputs, which would be in addition to the 2 power outputs the camera already has. At the bottom there's a headphone output, or you can also use the headphone output on the MVF2 for monitoring. We truly believe that it is the highest quality, lowest distortion microphone preamp available on the market in a camera. And because of the versatility with the power outputs as well, we really expect many operators to leave this on their camera all the time. The Alexa 35 is designed around 2 sets. We have the production set and the lightweight set. The lightweight set is a set of accessories designed for owner-operators, for single shooters or small crews who really value having a tiny camera with not too many accessories. The production set is designed for traditional camera department workflows. So there are a lot of accessory mounting options, and there are big top handles here for grips to grab onto. Let's have a look at these in more detail. So the production set, I think at the top, this is kind of where you can see all the new stuff. So here we have the viewfinder mounting bracket VMB5. And this bracket features a single screw that loosens these 2 hinging points, which means that I can very quickly adjust this viewfinder bracket with a huge range of motion, which is very new. It's kind of like you have a medium viewfinder extension bracket built into the viewfinder bracket. The viewfinder bracket is attached directly to the top handle instead of mounting on rods at the front, which would leave your rods free for a lens motor if that's where you want to run it. The CCH5 top handle is longer and wider and more comfortable to hold than previous top handles, and there's a lot of space under here so that you can leave your gimbal mounting plate attached to the top of the camera while you still have the top handle on. Because we now have the viewfinder mounted to the top handle itself, after I've released the little quick release viewfinder cable here, with 1 screw that I don't need tools for, I can release the whole thing in one go, which is great if you're transitioning, say, from a Steadicam onto handheld or shooting on sticks. It then slots in with these 2 cones at the front of the new top plate and tightens down with 1 screw, while still being really solidly connected. Now, the bottom of the camera might look quite familiar. This is the 3rd generation of our compact bridge plate. So in the compact bridge plates CBP5 and 6, we have 15mm lightweight support and then your choice of studio rail support. So in this case, we have Studio 19 support because it's a CBP5. The CBP5 is a bridge plate and shoulder pad built in as one, so it's lighter than having 2 separate parts, and the shoulder pad is closer to the bottom of the camera body. We have a huge range of balance potential here. And of course, the bridge plate can be completely slid off to be replaced with a SAM plate, that's a stabilizer adapter mount, for Steadicam, GPI Pro, Ronin, Movi, and of course, Artemis, Trinity, and the stabilized remote head SRH3 and 360. At the bottom, we have our quick release dovetail mechanism. So the middle position is for balancing the camera, which you'll notice is a lot easier now than previous designs because we've put these extra feet in that make sure that the sliding action on a dovetail plate is nice and smooth. Then if you pull the clamp all the way back, we can come straight off the dovetail plate or straight on. On the right-hand side of the camera, we have a very rigid side bracket here for mounting lens motors, and we have this. Now, this is the articulated mounting plate, which is a new design, and it means that you can mount a transmitter or an MDR, something like that, at the back of the camera in an area which would normally cover up the ports. Now, our second set of accessories is the lightweight set. So, doco, content, those kind of types for shooting. They're designed to be as lightweight as possible. And up the top here, we have our new lightweight camera handle, LCH1. That is a carbon fiber top handle, which can be adjusted very quickly. So this whole top handle can slide backwards and forwards so that you get the perfect balance. And at the back here, we have the BHA1, the balance harness adapter. So designed for suspension rigs like the Easy Rig, where you would put the little quick release in here, and then you can adjust the position of that without changing the position of the top handle and the viewfinder bracket. On the bottom, we have two shoulder pads that the lightweight set comes with. The first one is the compact shoulder pad, and that is this very small, lightweight, thin and squishy, comfortable shoulder pad, which kind of reminds me of shoulder pads that you might have had for a 16mm camera, which have a flat base. If I slide this straight off, I can then slide in the bridge plate adapter BPA6, which has a couple of unique features. So one, it gives you 15mm rail support at the front here. It has a small soft shoulder pad built in, and it has this little touch and go 35 plate, which is mounted to the bottom, and that will drop straight into receivers for tripods, such as a Euro plate. Also, if you take that little touch and go plate off, which by the way is mounted with 4 screws, so it's less likely to twist off and you're also less likely to leave it behind. Underneath that, we have the holes for a standard BP8 or BP9 bridge plates if you'd rather just run the camera that way. In terms of the Arri ECS system, well, not a lot has changed. All of our hand units will still communicate with the Alexa 35, and all L-bus lens motors and other devices will also still work. But the one key difference is that we now have an L-bus port directly on the camera body, which is great if you're running third-party lens mounts which don't offer an L-bus connector by themselves. As well as controlling the Alexa 35 with a Hi5 or a WCU4, we're also bringing some new functionality in terms of camera control with the Arri Camera Companion app. The Camera Companion app is available for iPhones as well as iPads and M1 Max, and you can control multiple cameras at the same time through a completely customizable user interface. There are also a number of custom functions which we haven't offered before that you can do through the app. For example, you could send frame grabs directly from the camera to your phone, or we're finally introducing a sensor flip user button, which I know many camera assistants will be really happy about. The Camera Companion app will also work with Alexa Mini LF, and the Amira. And we're even introducing an Apple Watch version of the app so you can check your camera settings at a glance or even control some functionality. For more detail, make sure you go and check out our Tech Talk videos. And now it's over to Utsi, our senior colorist. Thanks very much.
Hello, I'm Utsi, senior colorist at Arri, and I was fortunate enough to grade some of the Encounters films we shot with the new Alexa 35. And I want to tell you about a few things I noticed while grading these images. I mean, the first thing everyone will notice is the huge dynamic range. And this is especially true for the highlights. I mean, when you look at the image, you think, there's not going to be much detail in the highlights, but when you start playing with the image, you can pull back a lot of information and detail and color in those highlights. And this is true for HDR and SDR. So it makes the ideal camera for HDR, but it will also make amazing new SDR images possible. So let me show you. So on the UK Encounters film, they used a red LED torchlight underwater. And when I first saw the images, I thought, the highlights are going to be gone and clipped. So I played around with them and I started pulling back information. And it didn't stop. Like all the information needed for an amazing SDR grade were there. And I haven't seen this in any other camera before. The second thing is color separation and all the nuances of colors I suddenly see. This is especially true for skin tones. I mean, the skin tones look cinematic and true to life at the same time. And all these colors, they track very well into highlights and into shadows. So if you have a face moving from shadow to highlight, it will stay the same color. And there's no need for me to repair skin colors. And the cinematographer and me, we have more time to grade creatively. And it was really great to see that the DOPs of the short film series embraced the idea of our all-new in-camera Arri textures. Like on the Australian film, Arri Wagner chose a very grainy texture. And she even pushed that during daytime. And this ended up with a very nice looking analog image right there in camera. One more thing. HDR has been around for a couple of years now. And for me as a colorist, grading HDR and SDR for the same project can be a hassle sometimes. It sometimes even feels like grading the same images twice. With the Arri Reveal color science we're introducing alongside the camera, HDR and SDR come much closer together, and the creative intent stays intact.
So thank you for watching this keynote. You can find more information on the Alexa 35 on our website and in our series of Arri Tech Talks. Feel also free to contact your local Arri office or one of our dealers for a demo or to arrange a test shoot. Developing this camera and working with a great team at Arri has been exciting and a privilege. Moreover, this camera would not exist without your feedback and partnership. Now, we cannot wait to see what inspiring images you're going to shoot with the Alexa 35.